Cashflow Diary Podcast, episode 232.
Welcome to yet another exciting episode of the Cashflow Diary Podcast, the podcast that teaches you insider tips, tactics, and strategies for creating leverage streams of cash flow into your life. Learn from top-performing entrepreneurs, business owners, investors, and thought leaders from across the globe as they share their secrets to success. Like what you learn on this and other Cashflow Diary podcast episodes? Go to learninvestingnow.com and sign up to receive powerful tips and information that will help you succeed as an entrepreneur and investor. Now, here's your host, investor, entrepreneur, business owner, educator, speaker, author, and master facilitator of Robert Kiyosaki's cash flow game, Jay Massey.
What's up, guys, gals, people of all ages? How are you doing today? Well, I guess depending on when you're listening to this, you could be standing in line for Star Wars. Now, I hear there's actually some of you out there who have never seen Star Wars and don't care to. I've just been shocked. Like, wow, I did not know that actually existed. I guess not everybody is in the nerd crowd, but oh well, it's all good. If you are standing in line, then hopefully I can make this time go by. I can't tell you, depending on how early you got in line, this show is not going to last that long. And I guess that's okay. That's okay. But we're definitely going to talk about something that I believe to be important, and I want everybody to have the ability to do. It's a skill, actually, to some degree. And it'll come in handy at many different times. And as you continue to go out there to develop yourself as a real estate entrepreneur, it's going to be extremely helpful because you guys know I don't pull any punches. I just tell you like it is. And there's going to be a number of hesitations, roadblocks, obstacles, call them whatever you'd like, in the way, especially before you get that first done, that first deal, that first 100 deals, or that first $1 million deal, multiple millions, whatever it is, whatever stage you are currently at in your career, wherever you're trying to get to next, there's a guaranteed at least one detour, roadblock, setback, sidetrack in your future. And depending on how big your dream is, you may not, quote unquote, accomplish it for quite some time yet. And most of the time when we're trying to do something new or something for the first time, it feels a long way off. And there are so many steps that we don't even know. And we can't even guess at all of the steps. We try to. We say, I know I'm going to keep taking courses and talking to people so I can know every possible scenario that's going to happen to me. And yet, lo and behold, that never really works, and you never know, and then you're always surprised by something. I remember, in fact, one of my coaching clients in the past, they had, and I when they told me this happened, I was like, what? I didn't even understand it. I've owned a lot of real estate in my career, and I've experienced a lot of things. So I've experienced the shootings. I've experienced, obviously, renting property, evicting people from property. I experienced fires, floods, pipe bursting, the boilers going bad, cabinets falling off walls. Even one time we were doing a rehab and fix and flip, and somebody stole the floor. I haven't figured that one out yet still. And yet, when you think you've experienced it all, there's always going to be something new. And one of my coaching clients said to me, and I just thought it was odd. I had never heard it. I mean, you got to understand, there have been Monday mornings where I've experienced the call, hey, your tenant's child just passed away. And oh, by the way, they're late on their rent. And you're like, what do you got to do? I've experienced that this person's late during Christmas seasons and holidays and all these types of things. What are you going to do? All of those things I've experienced. And for some of you, you probably just said, that's exactly why I don't want to be a landlord. And that's fine. Totally understood. They told me, this is what they said. And I was just like, wow, that's new. that now, mind you, it's not a tall skyscraper building we're talking about, but they said the building got struck by lightning. I'm like, struck by lightning? That's a new one. I've never had a building struck by lightning. Tell me more about that. And I was like, wow. The point I'm saying is you don't know what's in your way. You only know the destination that you want to end up at. And hopefully you have that clearly defined. Hopefully you do. And if you don't, then, well, that's probably one of the most important things you could do right now is to give yourself some of that direction, clarity, etc., in order to make it work. The challenge is, oftentimes we're used to measuring, especially if you've been an employee for any length of time or have had any other job or profession, you're used to measuring your success and or completion. And as an employee, that completion is usually, or you can feel that completion experience approximately every 2 weeks or every week or however frequently you ever get paid. You feel that sense of completion in that sense. As a self-employed person, you could feel that from job to job or client to client. Hey, I'm a graphic designer. When I'm done with this logo, I get that sense of completion. As a doctor, even you finish this client, right? You done with this particular surgery, or as a dentist, you finish this appointment to clean teeth, or as an engineer, you finish the bridge, the building is built, the roof is back together. Claims adjuster, right? The claim is done. I get that sense of completion. Well, as the entrepreneur, oftentimes what we're trying to do has so many steps that sense of completion or, now I get to finally go focus on something else, it doesn't happen as frequently as we like. And the larger our portfolio gets, or the more bigger, the goal is, the less frequently you might actually get to feel that sense of completion and then that rush of that new project or possibility. And we've got to find a way to manage that, because you still got to see it through. And we must learn to measure progress, not necessarily completion. Because if you get addicted to completion and you get stuck somewhere, what likely will happen is you'll quit, because you won't feel like you're making any progress, because you got used to measuring completion. And I see this a lot, especially when someone is first starting in real estate. They, say things like, show me what I got to do to get an offer accepted. Well, okay, to get an offer accepted requires a number of different steps. First, you must meet a seller. You have to put yourself in a situation in which you have the capacity to have a conversation with someone who would be in the possible mind frame to have a property to sell. See, that is a step in and of itself. Learning how to find them, what to say to them, to start that conversation. But again, if the only thing you're measuring is a completion, especially if it's get a deal done, you don't get any credit. You don't give yourself credit for the progress you may have made just learning how to find people and talk to them. And that could and has, I know, led to many would-be entrepreneurs quitting. So some of the things that I wanted to just kind of, give you really quickly are just some of the things that are coming up for you as you continue, or you must, continue to perfect in various different ways. Just because oftentimes we think, I want to start a business. I'm ready to get started. I want to make something happen. And that's great. I want all those things. You want all those things. I want all those things for you. Why do you think I'm doing this? Is hopefully there's something that one of the guests, myself, you've heard from a live lesson, something that will help you unlock a key or unlock a part of you that will be the key to going out there and creating more jobs, clean, safe, affordable housing, and making great things happen. So what does that mean? That means oftentimes when we say, or when you think, I want to be in real estate investing, or I want to take my real estate investing to the next level, we don't really know what we mean. We don't really know what we're asking for, other than to say that we want more commas and zeros in a paycheck at some point in the future. But what are some of the systems? What are some of the things that come up in that process that you may not be thinking about? And again, my intent isn't to give you a complete exhaustive list or even dive deep into each and every one of these items that I'm about to give you, but this could serve as a blueprint, a outline, a something to at least have it on your radar so that you know at some point this is something I'm going to have to address and deal with. That doesn't necessarily mean you have to have all of the answers of any one of these at this moment, but at least I know that you'll know about it. Because I don't want you to get caught by surprise. Because that surprise and shock feeling, oh, that's a surefire recipe for I can't take this, I quit. So my attempt right now is to inoculate you, right? I'm going to give you a shot and do my best so that you don't catch quitting fever. That's really what I'm after at this moment. So I just want to give you some ideas of some of the things that are in your future, because you say, I want to be a real estate investor, but yet I want you to remember that also means you want to be a business owner. See, every other business owner has to deal with a lot of things in their life. And as a small business owner, as you and I are, we have a lot of things to deal with that we just may not be considering, we may not necessarily be trained for, and that's okay. You don't have to enter this having had a Harvard education or MBA from Wharton or any of those things. It's not required. You know, anyone who's, dare I say, brave enough can say, I'm in business today. That means you, right now. You know, you don't need someone's approval or a certificate to say I'm qualified. You get to make that decision. And by the way, it is a decision you will continually make. So I just want to kind of give you some ideas of things that you may not be thinking that I know are in your future. See, businesses run on systems, period. Businesses run on systems. Now, at the beginning, you know, you are the system and you're running all of these hats. And fortunately, because of the size of your business not being too large, any one of the hats doesn't take up too much of your time, but all of the hats take up more than all of your time. And some of you know exactly what I'm talking about when I say all of the hats take up more than all of your time. And at the beginning, you're obligated to get it all done because you are the chief everything officer. That is the definition of CEO, chief everything officer. Well, what does that mean? It means that it's your responsibility to get it done, whether you have the skill set or not. The marketplace doesn't really care that, you know, you don't like talking to people. Like, see, I'm introverted and shy. The marketplace doesn't care. They're not going to take it easy because I may not be the best at striking up a conversation. And it doesn't matter. In order for my business, your business, our businesses to survive, guess what, people? We still got to do it. And that means you. Even if you were like me right now, listening to me in the corner at a party, hoping no one notices, and happy that way. And happy that way. It doesn't matter. Because marketing is one of those skills that you must not just learn, but master. In a perfectly mature situation, you are going to finally get to spend most of your time. If you're truly going to have a business, you're going to end up spending the majority of your time focused on marketing. And then the other one, which is sales, we'll get to that in a minute. But marketing, this is really an entire complex subject in and of itself. And we as real estate investors are woefully unprepared most of the time when we enter in to this arena. We think, I need to know how to fix a toilet. I need to know how to, I need to know how to put on a roof and what wood to use and how do I hold this hammer? and all of those things. I can't get started if I don't know those things. Well, that's fortunately not exactly true because if it was required, yours truly would not be able to get it done because I still require assistance to change some light bulbs. And I promise you, no one calls me to even hang a picture because they know, don't call Jay for these mechanical things. Just don't do it. It's not something I was gifted. But it doesn't mean, if you are that gifted, that doesn't mean, oh, cool, I got this real estate thing on lock because I can hold a hammer and I know my way around Home Depot. Okay, cool. I'm not saying it's not a nice skill set to have. I'm not even saying it's unnecessary. It's very needed. But what I am saying, as soon as you cross that line and call yourself a real estate investor, real estate entrepreneur, don't forget the entrepreneur part. And the part that's important is marketing. You got to know how to find a perfect stranger who might, and get them to want to be interested in whatever it is that you're doing at the time that you're doing it. And that's the skill set. You got to do this for buyers, sellers, and investors. And each of those three are completely different. Because you think it's just as, I just need this. I just need buyers. I just need, sellers. I just need investors. No, you're going to need it all when it's all said and done. And then once you found that new person, yes, you're going to have to sell them something. And now I know I said the word sales and you've heard us talk about it before, guys. This is not new. Sales is a part of business. Sales is a part of entrepreneurship. Sales, therefore, is a part of your real estate investing, period. And you can't avoid it. And you can say to yourself, okay, I'm just going to go talk to a couple of my friends and that's it. Awesome. Here's the point. Your friends are eventually going to run out of resources, whether that be money, time, credit, knowledge, something. And you're going to need to borrow somebody else's. And that's when the sales is going to begin. Or you're going to get to this really awkward spot where a lot of people who have a normal job, that's when I normally run into most of you finally start looking when you're like, you know what? I got just enough to see a vision for making this real estate thing work, but not enough to actually quit the job. And that's when most of you begin to start looking. And that, I guess that's just to some degree, that's part of why we're here. But the point I'm saying is what's missing is how do I, now that I've got this portfolio that I was building leisurely, how do I do it intentionally? And a lot of the answer comes down to marketing and sales. This is not to downplay the need for operations and knowing how to, put roofs on, move houses, and all the things necessary to open escrow, close escrow, negotiate your vendor contracts, et cetera, et cetera. I'm not saying those things aren't necessary, but I'm saying you won't be doing any of them if you can't find someone to do business with and get them to do business with you. Operations are absolutely important. In fact, this is one of the first areas where I drowned myself because I created so much activity. I just couldn't keep up with the amount of paperwork, which I am naturally not adept at. Fortunately, I've learned to surround myself with individuals who are adept at paperwork, and the T's get dotted and the I's get crossed. Hopefully you caught that. The point is, you need somebody looking over it. Accounting and finance. I know. Jay, I can do my own books and it's cheaper. Wrong answer. It's not cheaper. And even if you can, you shouldn't. Because you need to learn the skill set required of a business owner, which is not doing your own books. And this is really, really true when you have that skill set yourself. This is so true because you need to go in a completely different direction. You've got to if you're going to grow, your idea is probably bigger than you anyway. Let it be. And the sooner you get used to it, the better. I know you feel like you're saving money, and you may actually be saving physical dollars, but I'm almost certain in every one of your cases, we could calculate an opportunity cost of the amount of time and emotional stress that you're losing by doing that one particular thing yourself. Investor relations, it eventually becomes its own department. You got to keep finding them, keep talking to them, give them, what about K1s when it's time? When their CPAs and their accountants and people and team have a financial question, you better have somebody who can help, as well as intake inquiries for new ones. You also have this situation with yourself in a lot of ways. Like, you do realize that you've got 24 hours in a day. 24. You don't suddenly get more because, hey, I want to do more. Cool. You still got to do it within 24 hours. That's your allotted time. Mine too. Therefore, discipline and time management get pushed towards the forefront. Learning to prioritize. Yes, you may want to do a ton of great things, and all of them may be beneficial and profitable, but which one can you do now? Should you do now? And is what you're doing the highest and best use of your time right now? A simple exercise to always ask yourself, especially as you're a small business, just ask yourself this simple question. What's my fastest path to cash? That's probably the thing you should be working on right now. Now, that doesn't mean it's always the case, but it's probably the case. What's your fastest path to cash? For many real estate investors, especially as you are new, the fastest path is trying to find a transaction type that you can do that requires as little, hear me clearly, as little of your own knowledge as humanly possible, as little of your own experience as humanly possible. And this is why, ladies and gentlemen, wholesaling gets bumped to the front of the list. It's because you don't have to rely on your knowledge and your experience. You do have to build relationships, but you were going to have to do that anyway. But it's not going to be your knowledge or your experience. It will be your hustle that makes the major difference. And you got that. You're listening to this. You also have to learn, what do I do today? When you come from an environment where you're used to being told what to do every day, or you have these allotted times, you go to work at 9, you work at 5, done. That's what you do. You know what to do. When you get there, you've done it. But wait, now you're in control. Now the choice is squarely in your hands. So what are you going to do? You wake up, you got this great feeling, I'm going to get stuff done today. Yeah, but what? And more importantly, the actions that you do take, are they even aligned with the vision, with the actual outcome that you want to achieve? Do you know how to even define an outcome that you want? Do you have the vision of what this whole baby of yours looks like later? And if so, what are you doing today to get one step closer to it? Just one step. And will you be brave enough to let that one step allow you to feel successful and complete for that day? Because the opposite of this is you don't know when to stop because you're addicted to completion. And when you're addicted to completion, you continue to work because you want to complete it. I got to get it done. It's not done yet. Yes, I know. But do you realize that not even the world was done in a day? It took at least 6. And at the end of every day, he still stopped and said it was good, even though it wasn't finished. So it's okay to just call today good. Keep this in mind. The thing that I really want to underscore, though, is that aside from the personal development, like the time management and being disciplined and knowing how to exercise your own self-control, a lot of the other things can eventually be outsourced, which is great once you even have a vision for what they need or should be. But one of those things that you're going to hold on to and should hold on to for a long time, because it's usually one of the most expensive things to let go of, is the marketing and or sales. And I want you to really think about figuring out how to sell, how you can best help someone get involved with your products and services at a fair price, specifically real estate. Failing to learn that one skill, I promise you, will keep you outside the game. But it's okay if you break it down in small little pieces. Because when you do, you can begin to measure your progress and go, well, at least I'm not at the beginning. And give yourself permission to feel good about that. For those of you wondering if I've caused any sort of doubt and you are thinking, man, maybe I am ready to quit, I'm going to give you this one last thing. And my guess is you're not ready yet. I was taught a long time ago that I knew and I would know I was ready to quit when I could fill in the following sentence. And here it is. I gave up all of my hopes and dreams for, and fill in that blank. If you can't find a way to fill in that blank, then that's because you're not quite yet ready. Now, you might be frustrated, totally understood, but you're not ready to stop, because what it is that you are after is worthy, it's worthwhile, and most of all, it's yours. So, with all that being said, if you want to figure out how to get all of these things off the ground and your process started, here's what I want you to do. I want you to go pick up a copy of my book, Cash Flow Diary, 10 Steps to Creating Wealth in Any Economy. In fact, because you are here, you get an electronic copy at no cost. And for those of you who like the audio, well, if you do this, I'll give you a discount on that audio as well. Send a text message to 72,000. You're going to text the word book. Text book to 72000. That's going to respond with a link. When you get that link on your phone, click it, put in your name and email, and guess what? You're going to get a copy in your email of Cash Flow Diary, 10 Steps to Creating Wealth in Any Economy. And for those of you that want the audio, you'll be given a very special link that'll give you the ability to get the audio book at half off. If you like that, great. If you just want the audio or the digital PDF, completely free, no big deal. Okay? I'm hoping that your time standing in line for Star Wars has been well worth it. Or whatever it is you're doing. It's been fun talking to you today. I look forward to talking to you soon. Until next time.